bullshit that you think is so important, you can just kiss all that goodbye.
That's right. You can kiss it all goodbye. You're listening to Deep Dive Live on Set-Jetter Saturdays. Matthew Clark, Robert Patterson of SetJetter.com, and Brian is joining us from reel-to-reel locations. Check out their websites, respectively, at SetJetter.com and also at rtrlocations.blogspot.com. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I could have named that better.
I feel like I should start.
No, I just need to talk better. It's not you. Trust me.
Every meeting should start with all this bullshit.
Yeah. No matter what the thing is, always bullshit.
My next board meeting, I'm going to start that way. So,
well, it's not only an icebreaker, but it's kind of.
But is this the Omaha soundtrack? What's going on here?
Yeah, this is our new theme music. It's Omaha, the karaoke version by Counting Crows. The countdown is exciting. Like
I see.
For Katie.
Oh, that was my comment. Sorry.
It's so funny. I'll turn the music off, but I was going to suggest the Brian. You were recently at a UB40 concert.
That is correct. Yes.
Now, how do they sound? Being that that's the lead singer, I don't think is part of the band anymore.
Correct, which I was not aware of. So when they took the stage, I said, "Wow, either the lead singer has not aged a day, or that's a 22-year-old." And about 3 songs in, they mentioned that this guy had taken over as lead singer a couple of years ago.
Is that how they sneak in? Like, tonight, Madonna will be performed by.
So, but they sounded
recognize.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
they were great. They opened with "Here I Am, Come and Take Me," my favorite song of theirs. So no complaints. And I don't know, like 5 songs of theirs really well. But all the other stuff they had a new album, which I didn't know either. I thought it was just kind of a greatest hits thing, but everything was upbeat and catchy. So yeah, good time.
Because I first kind of got. I was never like a big fan, but I kind of got into them from the Can't Help
Sliver,
Falling in Love.
Sliver,
Yeah,
of course. Summer of '93.
And then it's like a very kind of tech video.
You couldn't escape that.
It was everywhere. And then Red Red Wine's a good song, and they had some really good, like fusion reggaeton kind of stuff from the '90s. But yeah, they're talented. I was like, went down a rabbit hole with them, just kind of listened to a few tracks, and yeah, they were good.
Yeah, there was some song playing in the shuttle van from the parking lot that I never heard of, which is now like my favorite UB40 song. So,
nice.
So yeah,
I mean, the previous lead singer was driving the shuttle van, which is weird.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were brothers. I guess I really didn't know too much about the band, but apparently the lead singer's brother with the guitar guy, and he was still there. But yeah, they were good. Good time.
Good times.
Brian just shows up to any concert. Like, what?
I have a concert addiction. I'm pretty.
I get it. There's nothing.
Oh, it's great.
There's that live vibe,
The people we love, it could be their last tour. So you better go see them. Next up, I have Journey, Def Leppard, and Steve Miller Band in a couple of weeks. So
any original people, or are they also played by other?
I should research that.
I was gonna say, like,
I don't think Steve Perry's showing up.
It's like they're looking fantastic. I'm like, that's Aunt Helga up there. She's
I don't even know what Steve Miller looks like. So
it could be.
That's a thing too. I've seen Steve Miller in concert, and to this day, nobody knows what he looks like. For real. Like, even if you Google him, the first page is kind of far away with sunglasses. He's one of those guys that you never really know what he looks like. He could be anybody.
I thought he was going to say
get older,
the ring pictures where their face is all
it's all kind of.
He has a deal with Google too. I still remember years ago because I loved Depeche Mode in college, and I was like, I'm going to go see him, and and then I was like, they came out, and I'm like, who are these guys? And I was like, oh God, it's them, which was great. But then I was like, and then I think they, I can't remember the lead singer's name, Dave something. Anyway, he's finished the song, and then he took off backstage, and the band's going like, oh, he's going to change or something. And then they looked at each other, and they played another instrumental, and I'm like, and then they stopped, and there's like show was over, I was like, oh. And this was like in Kansas. I drove like 3 hours to see it, which I know that's a 15 miles away in LA, but yeah,
fan, that's a true fan.
Yeah, but I was like, forget it. Yeah.
I had Depeche Mode. That's such a funny thing you brought that up. The one CD I had from them was Violator. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it was like every track was good, and it's one of those bands I always thought like I should have gotten more into.
I was into them. Music for the masses.
They're no Smiths, but they're up there.
No. So speaking of the Smiths, I listened to quite a bit of the Smiths last night. So we're dedicating tonight's show to Justin Cooper, a friend of mine that passed away. So he introduced me to the Smiths. So he was my technically second roommate in college. That we both had different roommates starting. My roommate ended up being a little cuckoo. That I think it was you sense something's wrong, and then I had met Justin I think on the first day, and so ended up moving in with him. And then I think a couple weeks later, my original roommate set the journalism college on fire. Like, yeah. And then he was blaming, I can't remember who he blamed or whatever. Oh, then he said something about the KKK was out or something like that. And at one point, the FBI locked off his room. And so my original room was like locked off by the FBI for the first year. So
who was your original roommate? Ezra Miller?
Quentin. It was Quentin something. So actually, I have my yearbook page because I had a big half page on him. Like, so that was my roommate.
My gosh.
So anyway, yeah. So my friend Justin, we're dedicating to him tonight. His radio DJ name that he still uses was Ian McCain. So, and he was doing that up until last week. So, but anyway, so
Godspeed, Justin.
Appropriate because summer of '89 was our first post freshman year of college summer. So we saw a lot of these movies together. So not always first run. We can afford that. So sometimes it's the 99 cents theater.
That's so exciting to have that special time to do that with.
Now,
you always remember those.
I'm older, so I was 19 in the summer of '89.
Prime time.
How old were you two?
I was 32.
I was 11.
Summer of '89, I was 8.
8. So you might have seen a couple of these, maybe.
Yeah. I've seen most of them later.
My birthday is June 20th, so I was looking at the list, and at the time I was friends with somebody whose birthday was 2 days before me, so I couldn't remember if for his birthday we saw Batman, and for mine we saw Ghostbusters 2, or vice versa, but that happened.
Oh, that's exciting. '89 was a solid year.
Well, when I looked at it, I was like, every week or sometimes that same week, it was like movie after movie after movie, which we don't quite have anymore. I don't think. I mean,
months, even years go by.
Yeah. But that was just like almost like a normal summer.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just the way it was set out to be. So
are you going to change the bed sheets? Yeah.
Somebody's got it. Spielberg is probably listening and he's like, there's an idea there.
Yes.
I can make more money off of the Taft. What was the name of it? Taft Lafty Taft.
What was it?
The Taft Saltwater Taffy?
Saltwater Taffy Hotel. Motel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's $1 million idea. You get a prequel to Jaws done right. See, the shark would never be in it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It would be about the townspeople.
Right.
There could be like an octopus or a squid or something.
Yeah. It'd just be like Castle Rock, but Amity.
Exactly. Oh, well, you just missed the chief. You just missed him.
Yeah, that's what I want. Just the back of his head, like kind of like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. Like maybe sometimes he could call in.
Yeah.
Mr. Hart in 9 to 5. Shoot, you just missed him.
Missed him. But this we're gonna get through this list right now. Yeah. It's quite the summer, and just to echo what Robert said. Any our thoughts are with any family and friends of Justin Cooper, and we're sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
The first one on this list is so these are all '89 releases.
Yeah. So this is, and I put them in date order just so you could get a sense of what it was like.
That's summer.
Yeah. So this was when summer still started right before Memorial Day, and I think it wasn't until like Twister time where summer started like in the first week of May, and now it starts in March, I think. But it
kind of does.
But this was So one of the first summer releases was Roadhouse, the original Patrick Swayze, which I think I saw in the theater. If not, I saw it at least the 99-cent theater, because you just kind of, I wasn't a Patrick Swayze fan or this fan of type of this movie, but you went to the movies. This is what you did, like before you went out. Nowadays, that's the end of the night. You know, like,
that's the end of the night.
And I haven't seen the new Roadhouse to compare, but
the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
I have not either.
That one they had like Conor McGregor in there too, right? Weren't they trying to?
Yeah.
Which is clearly just to get downloads or views or whatever, streams. He's not an actor by any stretch.
Just trying to get clicks. They're trying to sell magazine covers.
Trying to show clicks. Roadhouse.
But the thing is, like, it was kind of one of those obviously kind of over the top movies that people still remember, you know, for some reason. So even though it's just not that good of a movie,
it's not
honestly. But yeah, so
I mean, yeah, it's got fun moments. It's a fun ride, but
I believe most of the locations are no longer in existence, right?
Unfortunately, this Roadhouse location is no longer in existence.
It no longer exists.
And for Swayze, it was this weird, not weird, but in between Dirty Dancing and Ghost, you know, this is it was
very
right on
weird
the
sandwich right there.
precipice of
Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ghost.
He was doing it.
He was doing it.
Was his first town, Brian? When it was first job, Skate Town, USA, I think. Marsha Brady's in that. I thought you would know.
What?
In Skate Town, USA.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. What was that? 80, 81?
Probably 80. Yeah, I'm thinking so.
Probably one.
Anyway,
of the first
he's been
movies.
around. Yeah. So anyway,
He's been around.
also released that day, and probably in more limited form, was Miracle Mile, which is one of my favorite movies.
Classic.
And it's getting a big resurgence lately. It's been playing at the Academy Museum a couple different times for special showings.
Has it really?
Yeah. So,
wow.
Which I'm jealous because I would like to go there, and they're giving out, you know, free signed posters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not familiar with this movie.
Johnny's Chops in there.
Yeah, so it's all shot on Miracle Mile. So up and down. So I did a lot of locations years ago, and then thankfully it was before they started tearing it all up to get ready for the subway, because some of those spots, unfortunately, no longer exist. But
unfortunate. Well, that's a real unfortunate thing.
Yeah, that is a real unfortunate. But yeah, so it was one of those kind of a downer movie, but it's kind of exciting. So it has a good cast. So if you have not seen it, check it out. Miracle Mile.
Yeah.
And if you want to see it live on the screen and you're in LA, you have that ability.
I think we should do that. That's actually a good movie. I think more people should see if they haven't. Like it's a really interesting take. End of times kind of thing. Like check it out.
Okay. I'll put it on my homework list.
The homework list.
It's a good one. And those two just got married like not too long ago. Mayor Winningham and what's the guy from ER?
Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
They got married to each other?
Yeah.
The Great Goose.
And I think this is their first movie together. I assume this is where they met. And then I think it was just like a year or two ago they ended up getting married. So
wow.
So it's a nice little.
It's a nice one. It's good.
It's a nice story.
It's a solid movie.
So obviously people were staying away from this next one because it was going to rule the box office for a while. So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
It tells me that goose-stepping morons would be better reading books instead of burning them.
And this is where we have 5 minutes of Matthew doing Sean Connery.
That's it. I'm done. By the way, this is one I did see in the theater, and it was quite the spectacle.
Was that your first Indiana Jones, I bet? In the theater?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, in the theater, for sure.
So, yeah, it's still a good ride. This is sometimes people's either favorite or at least their favorite sequel. But it hit all the marks, and it ended well.
It should have ended there.
That was supposed to be the trilogy.
Yeah.
Some people don't acknowledge anything past that. but yeah.
Or should they?
Well, and Sean Connery is what? Is he like 8 years older than Harrison Ford or something strange?
Something like that.
Yeah. So.
Junior.
But it worked.
And it has River Phoenix in the opening scene, which on its own was a great one of the best openings ever.
loved River Phoenix at that time, and I can't tell you how much hair envy I had that my hair wasn't. Well, you saw today's picture I posted, so it's my hair's right down here, but Rivers was probably just 3 inches longer, and I'm like, I need that much hair in my face, like he had. So that was my hair aspiration in 1989. So
it belonged in a museum. The hair, your hair belonged in a museum.
But yeah, it was good. And here's the thing, you could believe he would grow up to be Harrison, and he played Harrison's son once or twice, I think, at least, in Mosquito Coast and something else, I think. So
yes,
it all worked out. So
all roads lead back to Harrison.
Yeah. So this one still holds up. There's not too many even plot holes to kind of poke in there, but
yeah, I agree. It's arguably that or Raiders is always the argument people have.
Those two. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
For sure.
I'll let you handle the next one. I'm not a fan, but I think I saw it in the theater and I think I hated it.
Dead
in the theater too.
I still have not seen this movie.
You need to put this on your homework.
And have no desire to.
It is so fantastic. We are talking about Dead Poets Society.
Yes.
Audiences loved it.
Nobody really likes this movie. It's my theory. It's not a good movie. Nobody really likes it. They just want to compensate for liking Mrs. Doubtfire too much.
Oh, gosh.
So they're like, do you remember when Robin Williams passed away? Which is very sad. So all the people I saw on like social media were quoting Dead Poets Society. I'm like, stop pretending you don't want to quote Doubtfire. And it's just one of those movies where, I don't know, didn't do it for me.
People remember a couple scenes, but otherwise there's a whole lot of blah.
Yeah, You're better off watching Awakenings than Dead Poets Society.
Okay.
And Robin kept having, it's interesting because then literally that's all he did. He stopped doing funny stuff and he kept doing these serious roles, which is fine. But they kept saying, "Oh, this is such a different side of him." Like, no, that's really all he's done for 5 years. After he left Mork behind, then that's all he did was like super serious. But
he wanted that Oscar. He needed the Academy Award.
Was he nominated? I'm sure he probably was.
I think he was. I think he won for one, didn't he?
We have all the answers here.
We have all the answers.
So prepared that.
Give us an update, folks. I'll find it and give us
somebody will tell us. So the next one I was actually excited to see. Now, so we are talking about Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. Now, this being said, I was like, I didn't watch the original Star Trek series, but I like Star Trek 2, and I went to see Star Trek 3. Star Trek 4 is it's a good movie. It's a good, solid movie. So yeah, like Star Trek 5, yeah, they're good. And I remember the posters were, they're putting seatbelts.
Posters were good.
Yeah, the posters were like something like they're putting seatbelts in the theater because it's going to be such a wild ride or something. I was like, ooh, they're going to pull out all the stops for Star Trek 5, and they put them back in. But it was like some of the worst special effects, and partial, not all William Shatner. This is William Shatner was able to direct, so he had a favored nations clause since Leonard Nimoy directed Star Trek 4 and 5. So 3 and 4. So then it was Shatner's turn. So it was probably directed competently enough, but it just was not good, and it's usually rated as the worst Star Trek film, at least for that time. So Reagan is saying Robin Williams won for Good Will Hunting. So thank you for educating us on.
Thank you, nerd location.
Robin
Thank
Williams.
You,
yeah. So, but now, did you guys see Star Trek 5? I'm guessing no.
This is the one that we've talked about this on the show. Haven't watched it since we spoke of it.
Oh.
Do I need to add it up on the old homeworkaroo?
I don't know. Brian, are you going to put that to your list? You don't have to put this one to your list.
I have to watch all 5 of them. I haven't seen.
You have to watch in order. Otherwise, you have no idea what's going on.
Not a Trekkie at all.
I'm not a Trekkie either, but I do recommend the one with the whales.
The one with the whales.
That's Star Trek 4.
Yes, lots of Monterey
I can
Bay
tell you're not a
Aquarium
Trekkie. You're like, the one with the whales?
Yeah, that's it.
Was that the one?
The one that's
Was that-
the opposite of space, whales, ocean is the one that I love.
I still quote Star Trek 4.
And see, there you go.
Yeah, so there
It's
we
good.
go. So
It holds up.
I always still say like he did a little too much LDS in the 60s. I love
Can
that
I read the
line.
next one and start the next one in the form
You
of a
can
quote from the movie?
You can absolutely, because I have nothing to say about this next one.
And they turn into a dog, and these guys help me. Thank you. Thanks, Liz. But pointless. This is Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, you can see some locations of that on rtrlocations.blogspot.com.
He does all the hits.
All the stars are at the Hollywood show. But this is Ghostbusters 2, which for a lot of people in my generation, which includes you, but it's our favorite one. I mean, Ghostbusters 1 is a perfect film. It's a classic. It's far superior than the original, but come on.
I enjoy Ghostbusters 2 more than Ghostbusters on the right day. I don't know, because I saw it in the theater. It's probably on my birthday, and it's the one I watched the most.
I can't even. Well, that's fantastic, Ryan. So happy that.
Thanks going to the movies and nerd locations for.
Yeah, I think going to the movies, there should be an explanation after Brian, because I think it's kind of like, hey, come on now.
Oh, thank you.
Oh no, it is opposite.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for validating going to the movies. We needed that. Well, it's had Janos. I mean, come on, Vigo. The sorcerer of Carpathia. Command me, Lord. Like, it's just so great and quotable. The Titanic. The whole thing.
Bobby Brown.
Waited way too long to do another Ghostbusters after that.
Two is still better than the last two that came out.
Yes.
Which I had to do literally everything else in my power not to shut it off after 2 minutes. I was like, oh, I could tell right away, like something smells bad.
Right. Yeah. Something smells bad.
Yeah. And I'm still kind of shocked they got Sigourney Weaver back.
Yeah. How did they do that?
Had a big role in this one.
Yeah. Maybe she had some. She had some like Alien 3 claws, and I need to die at the end of Ghostbusters 2.
Some Alien 3.
They should have her.
Command me, Lord.
Falling off the.
She probably signed on before Working Girl and couldn't get out of it.
She's like, I'm in New York anyway, so. She's probably double dipping. She's probably shooting both, and she's getting per diem.
That's what it is. The double dip.
That's what she was doing. Mm-hmm.
She wasn't. She knew at some point in her life she would be doing America's Sweethearts, and she's like, "This is how I get those kind of roles."
It would be like that Brady Bunch where she's switching movies. Like, who am I? Am I Kate? Am I? Yeah.
What am I? What am I?
Because that was 88, December of 88. So yeah, so then it'd been around the same time likely. So
yeah.
So Ghostbusters 2 could get all their special effects.
Yeah, they had
together.
By the way, the Ghostbusters 2 has the Scoleri brothers in the beginning. Remember in the court?
Yeah.
Like that whole sequence alone.
Yes.
Is the stuff dreams are made of. All right, I rescind the order. Case dismissed. And it's just that whole thing is just
excellent.
The transit tunnel, the pneumatic transit, it's just a beautiful set too. I think that's a real set. The transit's fake, but there is an abandoned city hall.
Yeah, down.
I think that was based on, right?
Based on true.
Yep.
Now, part of the reason Star Trek V suffered was because of Ghostbusters 2 and Indiana Jones, because all the good special effects houses were taken.
They did.
And they're like, I'm sorry.
So Ghostbusters came out June 16th. Star Trek V was the 9th, and Crusade was the 24th. So that really got.
Yeah. It was a typical 80s summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which hit will we see?
Yeah. You had to argue with your friends.
Yeah.
What are we going to see?
It's amazing. Now, I'll let you read the next one, but I have questions about this release that only you can know.
That only I can know because I was an adult. So we were talking about Batman, which Batmania was crazy. So you were kids at the time, so I'm sure you were swept up in it. I assume were you
Oh
swept
yeah.
up in the Batmania?
Mm-hmm.
The toy stuff more than I was, I guess. I don't know because I was kind of
Toy stuff more
I had
for
the
me.
Superpowers figure line with all the Superman, Batman, Penguin, all of those,
and they came in really cool cases.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman, I didn't get on the Batman train till Batman Returns, and then I was like all in. But I remember the marketing was no joke for Batman.
Yeah.
It was like I think it was Burger King or McDonald's, one of them. It was like everywhere. That they must have spent like $200,089 on Batman. But did that put an end to Ghostbusters and all that at the theater?
I think it did, yeah, because it had one of those opening weekends that was like it became, like you said, the hype was unreal at the time, but they also had to deal with when it was filming. Actually, before it was filming, they had so much backlash for Michael Keaton, which sometimes people forget about. That they did not want him. Fans did not want him. Coming off of Mr. Mom and some stuff, they're like, this is the wrong person.
Yes, a lot of backlash
to do that. And then
did he do Gung Ho not too long before this?
Yeah. So, and that's really, I mean, I get it. That's always was kind of known for
Gung Ho.
funny stuff. And then
Batman cereal. Thanks, Nerd Locations. That was good.
Was it?
Batman cereal. It was a real limited edition thing.
Yeah. But
anyway,
I remember they had like a 30-second trailer, and that trailer's awful if you see it. It's like it's bad sound or whatever, but it was almost like the Phantom Menace, where people would go to the movies to see this trailer, and then so excitement level was high. Poor Sean Young couldn't be part of that. But,
poor Sean Young.
Poor Sean Young. She could have had a whole different career trajectory. She could have Kim Basinger's career, so she could have been an 8 Mile.
Kim Basinger was sued for something. This is a topic for another show, but I was reading Joaquin Phoenix walked away from that role. That he just walked away, and they're threatening to maybe sue him because they were like 5 days out of shooting, which is a complete asshole move to do that to people's jobs.
Yeah.
But I was reading like all the people that were sued over the years, and like Kim Basinger was bombing Helena or something. She was
boxing Helena.
Boxing Helena, bombing Helena.
Ask me if I have that on Laserdisc.
Do you have it on Laserdisc?
I have it on Laserdisc.
I never even heard of it, but she got sued like $3 million. And
well, once you see it, you'd be like, "Yeah, she should have just paid the money and walked away." It's not that.
It's not
good.
The other one was Bruce Willis, but we can talk about this another show. But
and Bruce Willis actually worked out to his advantage because he walked away, and so they made him. He says, "You're required to do 2 more." For us, and the 2 were Armageddon and Sixth Sense. So it worked. It's like, oh, that worked out for Bruce perfectly.
You know your history very good.
So
that's awesome.
I know all the litigation.
You do. I love it. You're like a little lawyer.
But Batmania, and I remember, leading up to it, it's like I can't remember what was it, Nick at Night or something. Everybody's playing the original Batman series, and so that's Prince.
Jolie Newman.
That song, Bat Dance was.
I loved Bat Dance.
That song was good.
I love the video, and I love the video screaming. And and my friend Katie, who was also she went to high school with Justin and stuff like that. So we'd be at parties, and they'd be playing. People Bat Dance would come on, and I would make her scream. I'd make her do the Vicky Vale scream out loud or whatever, because that was part of the song, and I don't know, and we just thought it was hilarious. We were so funny. I know.
How did the Vicky Vale scream go?
Wait, because he was like, he would say, Joker would say is like his dance or whatever, and then Vicky Vale's like scream. There's like a lot of soundbite drops and stuff and so I actually made her do that in real life, and she sounded just like her. So I think that's why. Don't ask me how that ever came up or why we cleared out parties, but that's what happened.
The Vicky Vale scream.
But it was fine. But I agree. It was great. It was kind of a new take on it, but I prefer Batman Returns a couple years later. So
we gotta see. But the Bat Dance is great, and the whole soundtrack was good. Batman, the franchise, historically fantastic soundtracks overall. Like Batman Forever.
Was there a song for Batman Returns?
Oh gosh, yes.
Batman Returns had
Why am I blanking on it?
That was a Kiss. Was that the Seal song?
No,
was
that was
Batman
Batman
Forever.
Forever.
Was that Forever? Okay. Oh,
La, 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 la,
yeah. What was the
la,
one when they
la,
were
la.
Michelle Pfeiffer are dancing?
Well, I mean, U2 had one. Oh, that one was.
That was from Batman Forever too.
Now I can't remember.
Was that Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me?
Yeah,
that was
U2.
Batman Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't remember Batman Returns having like a hit song.
it did. It felt like it was like Susie Sue or somebody.
I think it was Like a Virgin by Madonna.
Or Madonna. Actually, Madonna.
This used to be my Batcave.
I think she wanted to be Vicky Vale at one point, but
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
She did, yeah. I'm pretty sure she was also.
I could see that, and I mean, Kim Basinger. Everything worked out great, but
yeah,
Breathless Mahoney was just perfect for her.
Perfect. That purple car, that roadster. I sweat a lot better in the dark.
You know that movie better than me.
Oh,
what year was that? I don't know.
Better than anyone, which is not a good thing to brag about. That was 90, I think.
Oh,
Dick
okay.
Tracy.
Dick Tracy, yeah.
Anyway, well, Batman ruled for quite a while.
But Batman, yeah.
And it opened against Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So it's just some of our, I would say, counter programming. You know that.
Yeah.
One, if you
I saw that in the theater.
I did too.
I don't think I did. That was more a kid movie for you. That's for you kids, for your generation.
It had a good ride at Disney World for a while.
The Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Yeah.
Yes. I was shocked when I was looking up locations. They filmed it in Mexico.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I was like, it was on some lot in Mexico.
Oh, it's cheap. It was cheap.
It was cheap.
Rayan at Nerd Locations has said, "Did you see Deadpool? The Madonna drop was great." Yes, I did. Deadpool is one of my sister's favorite movies. So it's been interesting. We talked about it on our Set-Jetter Saturdays about them approaching Madonna to use Like a Prayer. So because she just doesn't give it that out willy nilly.
They had to get the rights.
They had to get the right, yeah. And so
approval.
So I'm still curious. It might be on the commentary what notes she gave them to change the scene to better fit the song or what have you. So, and they did apparently. So, you do what Madonna says.
Yeah. You don't argue.
Yeah, but it was a good fit. And then once you saw the movie, it was like, yeah, there really couldn't be any other song except for that. So,
there couldn't be.
Yeah, maybe there could. I don't know, but
yeah.
What if Madonna would have said no? I don't know.
It used to be my Batcave. I mean, there's so many.
And would they cut out Blake Lively? I mean, they had the Blonde Ambition ponytail in that.
The best look. We all agree there, right?
Yeah, I do agree.
I love it. We talked about that in a show recently, Brian. That's I think my favorite Madonna look. Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched an interview with her with that look and stuff like that. And
from the Blind Ambition era?
The thing is, like, it's funny because, like, that era, she was kind of overly made up, but I think that was this time back then. You know, like, there's just all this makeup.
Do it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, every inch is kind of, you know, like, you just.
Look, you're competing with Vigo from the Sorcerer of Moldavia. You have to.
Why are you came?
What? Where are you from?
And she was still wearing less eyeliner than certain vice presidential nominees.
Ooh, the baby. Oh, but I'd kid.
Now. The week after.
Sorry.
The week
you did
after.
very good, Jonas.
Too much time in the shower. What?
The week after, we had quite a movie that premiered.
Oh, God.
The Karate Kid Part 3.
Your karate's a joke.
What a letdown.
Blasphema.
After 2, come on.
2 is brilliant.
It's
2 came out on my birthday.
Oh.
My grandfather took me and my cousins to see
it.
We were in Hawaii where it was filmed. Little did I know.
Did that spark your location? Were you doing Brady Bunch locations at the time?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 1986. Yep.
You might have. Everything would have been fresh still. Just been 10 years.
I know. I love Karate Kid Part 2. Do
you really?
Yeah, I do.
I think.
I stand by it. I'll take it to the grave. Chosen was, I think, scared me more than Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, for sure.
Then when
Johnny
it's
Lawrence,
coming
you
down
kind of felt
the
sorry
thing
for.
at the end,
Yeah,
I was like, oof.
We-
And it's got Andy from Friday the 13th Part 3 as a glorified extra, bonus points.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
the guy from Die Hard, they're both in that scene.
Bruce Willis was in Karate Kid.
The quarterback is toast. I forget what that guy's name was, but that guy was there too. So you guys are not fans of Part 2. Okay, well,
No.
let's hear your thoughts on Part 3.
I love Part 3. So, and we've talked about Part 3 before. I talked about my experience, and I saw this with Justin Cooper in the theater. And so when I talked about we were in the back cackling, we had such a good time with this movie. I can't even tell you.
I mean, there's the bonsai. They're like climbing down. I don't know where they are, Malibu, and there's bonsai trees there.
They're 6 inches away. Let us up. I'm like, oh. And then
it's like amazing.
Daniel's having his kind of meltdown, and we're like, what? Because before now we're kind of used to that movie, but at the time you're like, what is going on with this?
What is happening?
He's kid,
30 pounds heavier for some reason.
He is. He's very heavy.
Yeah, he's wearing his windbreaker, and his jeans are up to past his belly button. It's just like, what are you doing?
And doesn't the mom have like a Chrissy Snow from Three's Company phone call insert?
Is it Uncle Lenny? I'm with Uncle. He's sick.
He's coughing. What gotta go.
Well, you call me after the movie.
You call me after the movie.
After the movie's done. But yeah, so it was So between that and then so there were so many moments that we were kind of almost incredulous that this was it's kind of like other franchises, but you're like, we're only 2 steps away from the original classic, and it's already became
right
this. But our favorite scene is, of course, where when Robin Lively and they have the date, and and macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese, and it's like, and so that kind of set us off. And then when they kick her in the stomach, which is awful, and she's like,
that's a rough one.
Yeah. And I loved Cobra Kai. Just literally replayed that that whole part. And I was like, good for them. And I loved. And this is why I love Cobra Kai, because literally she came in Cobra Kai talking about macaroni and cheese. I'm like, yes, it wasn't just us, And then
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And then it was kind of strange because then she goes, and now I have to leave the movie. It was like she disappears like halfway through.
I'm done.
Like, I gotta go. She's like, that people at the party, like, I have to go wash my hair.
I have to go wash my hair.
And that was the last we see of her. And they kind of I think in both of them they kind of did, like, what happened to Elizabeth Shue? And like, what? Like, her.
Well, Elizabeth Shue was right. There's like those because it's Robin Lively, the actress.
Yeah.
They was originally written as a love interest, but Ralph Macchio was like 27 and she was like 15, so he was like, let's just make it a friendship, which is like fine and it works and all that. It feels like her part should have been like much bigger, but she's like more memorable, I feel like, with what she has.
How dare
Not
you.
than Elizabeth Shue, but just her part versus if they made it more, like it still works.
They did Elizabeth Shue dirty. That throwaway line that she ran away with some guy at the prom or something.
Yeah. The football player, the UCLA player.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, she saw some of Daniel's stuff happening. She's like,
tantrums. I can't take another tantrum.
I gotta go. Well,
stupid bike.
And what bank sold? Because he's supposed to be under 18 still, isn't he? Because isn't that the whole point, or under 19 at least?
Yeah.
Sold him property. Is that legal?
How does that work?
I don't know. It was just kind of like he just rolled up to the real estate office in Burbank. Is like, I want this. Like, all right, kid.
Well,
that led to the 91 recession, I'm sure.
Okay, so maybe it worked. But anyway, but I have obviously a soft spot for
me too.
So it's utterly rewatchable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say this: Jurassic Park 3 is like me with the Karate Kid 3. Like I've never rewatched 2.
Why would you?
I love Jurassic Park 3 more than
I'm with
World.
you. I'm with you on that.
Are you?
Yeah, totally.
You're
Lost
more
World
of a
is garbage.
Did it anger you in the theater when you saw it too? When you
Yes.
The
yeah,
Lost
What
World?
is this horse
The
shit?
Lost World.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something
Well,
Terrible.
that's good.
Right. And that was only one step away from the original. Like, we
No.
just left that movie. What happened?
What
So-
happened?
And it's a Spielberg movie too. It's like,
Yeah.
Right. There's no excuse.
Yeah. And
Awful.
those damn cliffs down there.
Better off
Like,
watching
sometimes
Warhorse.
there's a cliff and sometimes there's not. In Jurassic Parks. Let's go talk by the pit of death. Like, why would you park there? Anyway, you
The
know,
five
like,
deaths. The Cinco de Muertos.
Yeah,
These
and
are
always
five deaths.
and then they pull out. And I'm like, how'd you get there? You know, like what?
Yeah. Did you just waltz up the road?
There's no roads. Those things. I know they're
Yeah, it's
supposed
not
to be
Lincoln, Nebraska.
made to look like they're can get through anything, but obviously they had almost big bus style,
Mm.
things, and it's like
Big
that
bus.
would not have. How they get it off? They never show how it getting off the boat either.
No.
Right.
To the what the five deaths,
It's the Cinco Muertos. It's the five
Yes.
deaths.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
What?
Never
Yeah.
heard of that. But this is as far as we go. It's like you just
You signed up for this. This is
Yeah.
the deal. We're going.
and they never leave. It's never far enough. Like I think we can still see Catalina. Like what?
Yeah.
It's always a helicopter right away, and I'm like, well, you can only go so far.
Yeah. I
like,
see
don't know.
traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should be all like, what are we gonna do? And like Carnival Cruises in the background.
Right. Carnival Cruise.
Anyway,
Yeah.
how did
still
Sarah
see
get there?
Catalina.
I can't.
Yeah.
Did she get there on a boat?
Did
I
she
don't
stow
know.
away on some? I don't know.
I can't remember.
She was looked pretty refreshing too.
She just had like 3 beef jerkies in her camera, and she's like, "Let's go."
I've been out here for a week.
I hope somebody picks me up.
I feel great.
Now that I think about it, there's probably some plot that is like, yeah, why don't you go down there? We'll pick you up in a week.
Yeah, go
Sarah.
down there.
And she's like, all right. Oh,
I'm telling you.
anyway, so yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one.
Another sequel, Lethal Weapon 2, was released the following week. So
That's summer.
which
I know.
I
Nuts.
did. This is not my type of movie at all. But I would go see almost every movie. Just I was like, and so I'd go see
I
the
love
hits too. And so, because Richard Donner came back for this, if I remember right. And so
Donner was back for 2. Yeah.
yeah. So usually you
Right.
can't go too wrong with him. I did like the opening because they had one of those opening, like I remember whatever studio credits, and almost immediately you hear the sound, whatever, and the title, whatever, and they just start mid-scene. I'm like, oh yeah, I appreciate, not this twanging guitar and
Yeah. Don't
we're
dumb
not
it down
getting
for
out of
me.
bed
Just
or something like that. They just started
Right.
right in the middle of action. I'm like, okay, I got that. But it's
Yeah.
almost kind of the this was a couple years after Beverly Hills Cop 2, where it's kind of these amped up, overly edited soundtrack movies, which
Yeah.
it worked, I guess, at the time.
you're right, but very high
Yeah.
produced with every scene is a music video.
The super, almost Bond super villains. Sorry.
Yeah, they just throw
as
them
you
up
have
there.
in LA, they're always like in their.
They're
high
always
badge.
Terry Silver living at the Christopher Wright house or whatever.
Well, and that's the thing.
Right.
They're always like, we're gonna have to follow them to find out where they live. I'm like, you can see it from sunset. Like it's right there.
I see the billboard for this movie actually in the back. They were
And I
promoting
think-
it. And
Was this
is a
Joe
reshoot.
Pesci's? Because was Joe Pesci in the first one, or did he come into the series in this one?
I don't
I
know.
don't remember him. in
You
the
know,
first
I never was like a big Lethal Weapon guy. I think
Yeah,
I've only
me neither.
seen them all like once, maybe.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Joe Pesci was in this one, and
yeah.
he was also. This was his first one.
gotcha. So anyway, and then in remember at 3, then he was on the poster. It's like,
one.
oh,
Yeah.
it turned
Yeah.
into that.
Because he did Goodfellas and Home Alone, and they're like,
Yeah,
throw him up there.
Hey, we got a winner.
We got to win.
We got comic relief because these two guys are not funny.
Comic relief.
And then there was weird stuff like there's always like that weird attracted to your partner's daughter thing. We're like, what?
Yeah.
Are you doing?
That was a weird thing. I think that's maybe why I wasn't watching it like a lot. I remember that was always kind of weird.
This is what happened in the 80s. So,
Yeah.
so Rain is reminding us that that their house, his house, Murdoch, was it Murdoch? Is that his name? Was shot at the the Warner Brother Ranch, rest in peace, which is gone.
Yes, that was Margot and
I don't
Todd's
know,
house.
Margot.
I
On
don't
vacation.
know, Margot. The Warner Ranch was that's where Danny Glover's house was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
The toilet. Yep.
Yeah, the Christmas vacation house and Bewitched and all the Redlands and all the good stuff. So
if only there was a website that listed those
who
locations.
knows? Yeah. What about Franny's house? Was it at the ranch? No.
Well, to
anyway.
cover Flag's house, he doesn't have one.
He lives with us. But Lethal Weapon, it did obviously great business, and then that's why we keep making them and so. But anyway.
Yeah.
Next one I also saw in the theater because we this was more made for my teenager.
Love Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. So did you see it live?
I did not see it
okay.
in the theater. I saw my parents went to go see it. I remember they came home and said, "We just saw the funniest movie." And then next summer when it came out on video, we rented it when we were at the beach, and oh my god,
so good.
That house was so 80s. I mean, the whole movie's so 80s, but that house was just
house was really 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was ultimate neon time. Like you always had overlay white houses, splashes of pink neon swirls and stuff like that. And I always remember like Ruthless People Furniture, like this overly, I was like, that was like the ideal. Yeah. Where else would you want to live except for there? So
great
that's what we aspire to.
We got Vera from Friday the 13th Part 3. We got Silverman from Give Me a Break, the best sitcom of all time. And we got Andrew McCarthy. And we got Terry Kaiser. Bad News Cruise.
Bad News. A lot of Friday the 13th alum in that one.
Well, was this the Paramount movie? Because like sometimes you could just tell who was in the Paramount.
Yes. Was it? Or was it New
casting lot? I don't know.
Touchstone or I can't remember which one.
These people just show up. He's like, yep. But
Weekend at Bernie's was a 20th Century Fox.
Fox movie. So,
wow. That buoy scene, hilarious.
Hey, Bad News Cruise.
And now
the buoy scene is great.
Were they going to? I know they made a sequel, but I feel like they were going to remake this at some point.
I think they were or are. Not necessary. Yeah. No one's asking for it.
They were supposed to remake it, but it was going to be TV, wasn't it?
Oh,
no,
God.
probably not.
I don't know how you could do that. It could barely eke out 90 minutes of that joke because that's all you can get out of it.
It served its purpose.
Was this one or was it the sequel that he would respond to music? They had like a voodoo thing. Remember?
That was the sequel.
Okay, that's what I think. And that was like, how are we gonna keep him going? It's like, well, let's do
a voodoo thing. He's a zombie now.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Which was kind of like, and then the really was like, because I think they semi-addressed it, the smell and stuff like that, but they explain it away. But but I get it. If you have that house and the summer and the parties, you don't want to mess.
And can you believe they tore down that house after filming? What a waste!
Was it all a facade or was it a?
Yeah. They built it on some, I think, state park in North Carolina, and then they just tore it down after filming. Devastated.
Yeah, what a waste. They should recycle it for Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought, because there's people that say, like, I have a 2-inch piece of wood from Weekend at Bernie's house for $25 if you want it. Like,
I wish I had a piece of wood from the Friday the 13th Part 3 doc. But you said people like actually took that. And
don't even, because after we went, Brian, I saw they were giving pieces of the doc to the next visitors. I know.
What?
And I was like,
are you kidding me?
Because then usually I don't care about
that's
but I was like, I would have taken a piece
that
of
I would have taken for sure.
Yeah.
How dare they?
I watched that again last night, Part 3, because it was the anniversary. And
we were inspired.
And I was inspired. It's such a great location.
Do your lines, yeah. Oh my God.
Give me something to scream about.
Debbie, Andy, Shelly's dead. But she runs up the stairs and runs down.
Holding her
asshole.
Stomach hurt.
Sagan's Haven. Sagan's Haven.
By the way, there was popcorn. It's landing hard.
Be a man.
Yeah, I love that one.
It is a good line.
You want some breakfast? As they're giving her the pot.
I
to
did
eat
look
in the
her up.
car?
She only did 3 movies ever, and then
Chili?
Yeah, and then she's apparently a healthcare provider now or something like that.
Were they
so.
post Friday or
One was
pre,
one was after. So, but yeah, it's like, why isn't she at a convention?
right?
Yeah, why are we?
She would make sense. That would be
we have our
great
usual
guest.
suspects at these conventions.
Well, there's a rumor. There's some Friday the 13th convention next year.
What?
45th anniversary.
I'm not going to get suckered.
Probably
into
in
that
Jersey,
again.
right? I'm not.
You know, it's not like officially announced, but I saw it teased on something. So who knows what's going to show? If it's really happening, maybe they'll get some of the people who've been hiding out and
Yeah, get him on.
maybe should be there.
Get the cop in Friday the 13th Part 1, the motorcycle cop.
He does.
He always does stuff,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he brings his helmet and everything. So
Yeah, he'd be great. Like stuff like that. They didn't announce it, but did they say like where it would be? Would it be like an East Coast thing?
No, it's going to be at the where the Hollywood show is.
Oh, really?
The
Marriott?
Marriott.
Oh, wow.
all roads lead to Burbank.
I don't know if it's
That's
some
true.
gag thing, but
I got
we'll
suckered
see.
last time. So
Got suckered for what?
Well, when was that, Brian? Remember years ago they had this. Literally, they kept announcing every cast member is going to be there, and it was going to be down in Texas. And we all paid money to get tickets, and it was like 3 weeks before they said, "Yeah, none of this is real."
Oh, was it like the Fire Festival for
It
horror
was,
conventions?
but they didn't even go that far. There was nothing was booked.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was all false. Yeah. So it was, yeah. And I'm still kind of burned by. I think other people are burned by that because it should be, Halloween kind of figured out that they could have these kind of milestones, and there's enough of a cast that you can you can have it every 5 years with a completely different set of people.
Yeah.
And there'd still be, people would go to it and so forth. And they do kind of like mini shows, like sometimes Horror Hound will have like 10 people from Friday the 13th Part 2 or something like that. But they've never been good at kind of doing what kind of Halloween did. So, and now it's almost getting too late. Like, there's not too many. But yeah, or trying to kind of coordinate, because I was lucky that one of my first conventions was Part 1, 2, and 3 Final Girls were all together at the same time.
Ooh,
which
nice.
Wow, that's such a gem.
Happens,
Nice.
But and they were all right in a row. It's kind of a little weird. Do you remember? I used to get freaked out when Road Rules and Real World would have a competition. It's kind of like the Celebrity All Stars. I'm like, they're mixing up the people. It's like they're not supposed to all be together. So Reagan's asking if they're going to do anything for Texas Chainsaw 50th. I haven't heard anything specific.
I haven't heard anything.
There's kind of, it's hard because now there's just kind of a handful of people left, unfortunately. But you feel like, one, they're set up like they should definitely be doing like Onset Summit probably should be doing a couple things down in Texas.
Yeah.
While we can, but they should do something.
And if they don't, the Set-Jetter Saturdays program is going to offer some quality program and remembrance and recognition on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tune in.
I don't know if I want to go down to Texas again. There's certain states I'm like, I just don't know if I can cross into.
You're just like, I just don't have the strength.
But we still have like Pam, I know, is still around from the original Texas Chainsaw. So there's still a few people around, and they probably do the whole franchise. Get them in.
Yeah, I think if they did the whole franchise, like franchise wide, prequels, everything, they could piggyback on another event if it's like. It's probably too late now, but they could have done something. I just think Brian should set up like a paper booth at the next Hollywood show and be like, Halloween, actor here and sign things, and people would just do it. I think
people would do it. Bring dirt from the junkyard.
Dirt.
Well, I could wear my screen used
the boxer
outfit
shorts you wore that day.
I got my green flannel.
You should have photos from I, Tanya, and like you just have all your like you were there. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's legit.
I could have my booking notice that when I got booked on it and photocopy them and sign those. It's a good idea.
And we could be like your guards, because so if
Yeah,
people try
my
to take
handlers.
pictures, like no pictures.
Yeah.
You need
No
to pay
pictures.
for that.
Right.
Okay.
$50.
Let's do
It's
it.
25 if you want to put a
I'll
period.
just bring a
at the end of
fold-up
it.
table at the next Hollywood show.
Yeah, actually, Matthew should be your handler, because he's like, if you're willing to wait for 25, you're probably willing to pay 35 for.
Yeah, because I've been ripped off so many times by Jackson Bostwick. He'd be like, 35. Why get 2 sentences when you get 3 for 50?
How much you got in your wallet?
How much? What's your Venmo, please? I'll take that.
But anyway,
For
that's a long ways from Weekend at Bernie's. But
oh yeah, I love that.
it's like, where did we leave off?
I love it.
The next one I did not see in the theater, because it's not my
either.
type of movie. And eventually I saw it. And we were talking about When Harry Met Sally, which would have actually been good kind of counter programming for like Batman around that time, because it was a kind of different audience. Like, I don't want to say the men go to this movie and the women go to that, but
oh yeah.
So it's still there's some things that age better than others, but there's still actually some genuinely funny moments in here, and I also appreciate, like, Carrie Fisher is she's minor characters in here, and she has one of my favorite movie moments when she's going through a Rolodex. The kids, people, for their phone numbers, we had to write them on paper and put them in alphabetical order in a Rolodex. So that was our contact list. So my favorite is like, she had, they're like talking about, she's like, what about so-and-so? And they're like, married. She's like, married. Ugh. And she just does the corner and puts it back. And so that was like my favorite nonverbal moment for Carrie Fisher. So
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think the script was nominated or something, and it
looked good, and it hit the right notes, and people still talk about it. People still go to the When Harry Met Sally restaurant and
Cat's Deli.
Yeah. Not before I started doing film invitations. We just ended up there with a friend one day, and they had I'll have what she's having.
Oh, did you recreate the scene?
Yeah. Did you do it?
Has our friend recreated the scene there, Brian?
No, I did not.
I think you should put that out there.
When I go home for Christmas.
I think you should
recreate.
I think you should go with a certain someone that you've had dinner with before at famous restaurants and do that scene.
Yeah. The world needs
there's
to
a
see
shiny
it.
quarter in it for both of you.
We need it.
And Audrey gets one too.
And so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's perfect.
All roads lead to Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
But yeah, it's still, I don't think
it.
people still talk about this movie kind of like they used to, but it was a big thing for a while.
Yeah, it was a big thing for a while.
It used to be more spoofed too. There was like a lot more references in pop culture to it, and I feel like you don't see that as much. But
people mocking how she ordered, which now is kind of more the norm.
Kind of is.
This whatever. I'm like, now wait. They used to be like, what? And now it's like, that's Tuesday.
What?
At Olive Garden.
I remember going to Katz's. I've only been there once when we were in New York, and it was nighttime. It was like dinner, and I remember just remembering how packed it was. And I'm just thinking, like, this is a deli. This is like, so, because it's such a spot, it was like to the walls deep.
It's also New York. That's the way you cram every.
Yeah, it's in the right, exactly.
Yeah, or shared tables, which Midwesterners are like, what do you mean that we're all in the same? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New York, you had to maximize your space. That's what you did.
That's what you did.
That's what you do. And now we eat in the street. Post-COVID, we just took over parking spots and we're eating next to parking meters. But
I love street meat. It's so good.
Which I think, last time I was Burbank, I think they actually closed off San Fernando Road permanently now. So,
really?
I thought I saw that, but I can't remember if that's true now. But anyway, so next we have License to Kill.
License to Kill.
And I did you keep correcting my spellings? Because they actually do the British spelling for License to Kill, which I remember that was a big deal.
Oh, they did it with an S?
Yeah, they did with a C. They did.
I totally missed you spelled Ghost Tubsters. Too.
Is that the way I spelled it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Ghost.
Usually correct.
I didn't correct it. License is with a C. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember at the time because they're like for an American film, They were like, why is it spelled wrong? But
never knew that.
They spelled it, but yeah. So this was because this was his first go around as James Bond. Is that
Dalton.
Right? Dalton. Yeah. So
No, this was his last, right?
was it his last or first? Okay, was it Living Daylights? Was that his first?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I think so, because he only did 2,
that was
right?
Yeah, because 87 was Living Daylights. So
he's the George Lazenby of our time.
He is probably
he was a good Bond.
And I think now we have a serious Bond, and so we probably needed another bridge before we kind of needed Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
it was kind of the combination of Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton to kind of bridge our ways to Timothy Dalton, but he was like too serious for. He wasn't doing any weird looks. After he killed people,
he wasn't right.
He was doing his job and then resting.
Yeah, he kind of was. He, you needed that extra Sean Connery thing going on.
Yeah, but so this one I remember because it was this is why I like it big. I was like, this was the non-memorable one. Like there was no good tentpole stunts or anything, and so probably like you said, this kind of ended up tanking. It was like they needed to kind of reconfigure.
Who sang the theme song for this one? Do you remember?
That's a good one. Question.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not a Bond fan, so I don't really know anything except Duran Duran and Sheena
I mean, they're always all Bond films are known for their villain and their there's always the theme song, like the Pierce Brosnan one. They had like Sheryl Crow, whoever was like the It group of the year, and then for the Bond girl. This movie had none of them. I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, they were gonna use Pierce Brosnan for this one, but he was still licensed. He was still under contract for
Mrs. Doubtfire
for whatever show he was doing, like Renegade Steel or something.
Oh, Remington Steel.
Renegade
he was
Steel.
He was on Renegade Steel with Bruce Willis.
That sounds like the canon movie version of like Renegade Steel.
That's what we need. Is more. But he was. I think he was supposed to be in that, but they couldn't, and they just waited for it to run out. And out of all the Bond movies, this is the one I never go back to.
So this would have been Pierce's time to kind of do it. So it says Gladys Knight, and so nothing comes to mind when I see that song. So
no,
they certainly don't. Play it. So Bond songs are always kind of iffy because sometimes they're good a good fit, and sometimes you're like, this is tough. Yeah.
Good locations though, and Robert Davi was the villain. I don't know. It's no Hoagie in Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh God, no.
Hoagie, Halloween Horror Nights. It's Hoagie.
Still
can't get over
we
that.
need to put that out there. So Universal Halloween Horror Nights. I know you're all set for this year, but in a couple of years, we're having a super anniversary for Jaws: The Revenge. This is the time to, they could take the tram. There you go.
It is.
DVD?
Yeah.
I love that.
What's sad is that I have Jaws 3 on Blu-ray, but I have Jaws on regular DVD stuff.
Me too.
No.
Really?
I have my Jaws DVD is $5 on Walmart.com.
Oh, mine's like the special edition from 2005, but it's sad that I don't have it on Blu-ray and I have Jaws 3 on Blu-ray.
Well, what's more rewatchable?
Right. Hoagie.
I did pull a film clip from that earlier this week, from Jaws 3D, because my friend was saying my shorts are still too long, and I'm like you can almost see my knees because that's pretty short for me. You've seen my shorts before, which are 3 inches shorter than.
Oh yeah, classics.
Yeah. Like, do you have so they're like no, they need to be this short, and so I pulled up. I made my own little meme. The shorts.
Sean Brody's shorts
are short enough. No, from Jaws 3D.
Yeah.
When she's like, welcome to see, she's like,
the SeaWorld.
Alter your costume or whatever. The shorts are short enough.
Oh yeah.
Show any cheek and be back.
Mean Mrs. Garrett.
Yeah.
It was like beauty school or etiquette school, whatever she was doing.
Welcome
it's like
to SeaWorld.
Shoveling French fries at the.
Yeah, right. That was the worst. You want to work on SeaWorld. You don't want to be working fast food. SeaWorld has a nice reputation.
Right. You're in the big time.
People love it.
They love it.
We treat animals right here. Anyway.
Oh.
Next one, a couple weeks later.
Here we go.
Matthew. You can introduce this next one.
Well, folks, New York had a new problem on July 28th, 1989. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oof.
Question. Do you remember the original poster for it?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
They were selling
love
that
New York.
at the Hollywood show.
Yes.
How much were they selling? That was
$400, was it?
It was like 400 somewhere.
So, as you know, or doesn't know, anytime you cannot use "I Love New York" in any form.
No, it's like using the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You like can't touch it unless you get rights.
For Madonna, even had to black it out on her when she did Confessions tour because she had an "I Love New York" guitar strap for a couple songs, and then on video, it's all digitally blacked out.
Oh, really? She
Yeah.
had to. Oh, they don't mess around with
They
that.
do not mess around.
No.
So
This movie had a great teaser trailer. I will say that.
Oh yeah, good call.
none of it shows up in the actual movie. That's always a good sign. None of it is actually part of the movie. But
No,
After that, it's all downhill.
I gotta
I-
share
Okay.
the scene from the movie. I'm sorry.
which scene? Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Of course.
Oh yes, yes, of course, yes, please. Jason Voorhees versus the Muggers.
I was like,
In the city ain't no big deal. Living in the city ain't no big deal. You gotta have a heart made of U.S. steel. If the crack don't get you, then the hookers will.
You a dead meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool. You a dead meat slime bag. What is he doing with that knife?
that's what we did in the 80s. The funny thing with that scene now that I look at it is like, because like in a few minutes you see him with his mask off and you're like, oh my God, that's the worst makeup I've ever seen. It's not like the Jason we saw like the past two movies.
Yeah.
But
It's very hard for me to rewatch that movie because I always watch all the Friday the 13th. I love the franchise, but that one, it's just I don't know. But
Laundry
it's
Day
so
City.
funny.
Scott says, where is SeaWorld?
Yeah, where is SeaWorld?
Started with the C. So that one was in Orlando, and
Yes.
I don't think I had not been to that one. I had friends that had been there, and there's some good videos out there of kind of what's left of some locations.
Yeah, there's still some stuff you can match up.
And if you get a special tour, you get to go down, and there's still the same
Yes,
signs.
I did not get to do that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Wait,
And
what? They still have the underwater thing?
Well,
the-
no,
the
it's
stairwell that when
Oh, where
it's
the
a random
what I'm
stair.
trying to like-
Yeah,
I've seen a shark attack before.
And
and
they
Dennis
pull
Quaid
back,
throws up. Yeah, that is like in the back that you can get a VIP tour.
yeah. But they also the sign's still there, and they have a little sign that says this was used in Jaws 3D, which is fantastic for people like us. It's strange that
fantastic
for a
people like
SeaWorld basement sign to have that. I mean, there's and we've talked about this before. It's weird that SeaWorld let them use their name.
I can't believe they did that.
that to this day is one of those things where you're like, I can't believe they did that. And SeaWorld, for whatever reason, they follow me on X. So I know they'll see what I write. So I put, why doesn't SeaWorld embrace the fact that they allowed Jaws 3 to use their stuff? And they actually like tweeted back and were like, we may or may not include that in some of our tweets to handle customer service problems. And I'm like, you need to get in front of that and like own it. It's Jaws
Yeah.
3. It would be like Jurassic Park 3 being used Disney World or something. Like it's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad, but yeah. So it was kind of what movie were we talking about?
Jason
Jason
Takes
Takes
Manhattan.
Vancouver.
Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah. So, yeah, Jason Takes Vancouver.
Do you have a favorite kill in this movie?
Oh gosh, yes.
I had hair envy of the nerd guy with the glasses with the camcorder.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Well, the
yeah,
guitar scene's funny too because not the guitar, the disco, whatever, on the ship.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Because like, what was going on in that ship? I mean, it's a high school trip, so it's not a cruise. It's like a rusty passenger ship, like an
Barnacle
ocean liner.
barge. Yeah.
The Lazarus.
There's like a club in there, but nobody's in there. There was like 200 kids, and there's like 8. I mean, we know why. It was budget, but like, what's going on there?
Probably the best kill, and probably because it was most memorable, and it just kind of worked, and because it was over the top, was what's his name on the roof with the boxing.
Yeah, that's it. And the sauna kill, yes.
Yeah, which was also the sauna was I think it was a reshoot because that was supposed to be a slightly different kill.
Well, the beginning scene was them on Crystal Lake, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The boat and whatever, and
So Crystal Lake is connected to a passageway up to the Atlantic.
Somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So
geographically
By Higgins Haven.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Jersey.
The Higgins Haven
River would be the Hudson in the north, but it just doesn't add up geographically.
It never. Well, there's some type of time portal, I think, or something that they go through. But
right. Oh, right.
Yeah. So going to the movies. Yeah, it should have like a dinner cruise. They should have bussed to New York and then done a cruise around. That.
Yes.
They could have made it work some better.
Yes.
Than that. That would have been a much better way because then it would have made sense.
And they did have, if I'm not mistaken, the budget was so bad. Not bad. They just didn't have it. They were only allowed to shoot Times Square for actual New York, like in the entire movie. That's really the only.
Budget. New York's expensive,
which is fine. It is very expensive. That's why they don't shoot in L.A.
They could do a few establishing shots. You can't fake Times Square.
Yeah.
No.
Although you can fake a subway stairway in Times Square, as they did.
There it is.
So my
welcome to New York.
My most recent Vancouver acquisition was the subway exterior.
Yes, nice.
Subway.
Everybody's waiting for that. It was like,
did they ever release it on 4K?
No, I think the thing is like with the Friday 13th, there's some obviously between rights and stuff like that. That sometimes there's some different pieces. So I don't know if we'll ever get again because they had all the was it 1 through 8 I think altogether. So
yeah.
Okay.
Now, they should, going to the movie say they should do real world adjacent takes blank in different cities. Jason takes Des Moines.
Jason takes Lincoln,
That's what I
Nebraska.
want. Yeah, Jason takes Lincoln. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to afford it, but for the Jason takes Paris and somehow they.
That's what they should have done. Or
they
space. Oh wait a
second.
Something.
It would be. They should just follow the police academy. Jason takes
Russia.
Miami.
Yes. Miami Beach.
Yeah. Jason goes to Russia.
Jason takes LA and lives in a homeless encampment.
Nobody knows. Oh, that was Rob Zombie's Halloween too.
Yeah, no, nobody living in the city ain't no big deal.
Nobody would know. Texas, nobody cares.
I watched Friday the 13th Part 3 last night. I think tonight Part 8's getting fired up. They're all streaming on Max.
How could you
I
not
think we got a late night,
Part 3 with
boys.
the final chapter?
Yeah, people's like, how did Jason get there? How do you? You're not going to know. You're like, he was just in a barn. How did he get underwater?
Robert's hatred for Freddy vs. Jason of the things dreams are made of.
Well, it's not good.
It's not good, but just the logic is you're so right.
Kelly Rowland, no.
But why? So Jason dies, he drowns. So what was their logic, Robert?
Well, Freddy dies, he's drowned. Yeah, it's by chance Jason kept getting drowned, or not drowned. He'd be just underwater, whatever.
Right.
Because he's like, oh, he's underwater again. So.
So they're afraid of water.
And they pull little Jaws too, where isn't this when he kind of gets electrified?
Oh
yes.
Yeah, the anchor is pulling. He's like,
yes.
They should.
Oh, big time.
We should intercut it with Chief Brody's like, open up, say
smile, you son of a
bitch. That's what we should intercut Jaws 2 with. It's just like Jason in the middle of the ocean.
You can't go wrong.
Boats.
I mean, really.
Donna Wilkes screaming her head off. Yes.
Yeah.
It's that thing.
You can't go wrong.
Somebody help us! Jason attacking a helicopter. I don't think they've done that. It would have
Jason
worked out.
attacking a helicopter.
And then Jason takes the Bahamas. And then
That's it's
there
really
we go.
personal then.
It all comes full circle, where Adrienne King is now that right age. You know, like she goes to
Flying planes like Hoagie.
she's going to visit her sons.
Well, I believe I did need a house payment. That's why I'm doing this. Yeah, I mean, you could just the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I didn't want to because like there's some strange line readings by Lorraine Gary in Jaws where he's like, and he kissed me. And it's like, oh, calm down.
Well, there's quite a book on that movie.
There's
it is, and it is wonderful.
It is
definitive book. So, but yeah. So, what's he said? He takes a ride for a train for an hour and a half, and then 10 minutes of him stumbling onto a movie set. Yeah, I'm on board for that for sure. Yeah, but well, maybe that's what we're gonna get with the new series.
Give us Kane Hodder.
He just. Yeah, I have some. I'm either Ted White, obviously, is my favorite Jason.
Yes, Ted White
and Richard Brooker also kind of had
Richard Brooker.
a menacing.
I think Kane Hodder's a little
and
overrated.
Steve Nash.
And the thing, but Kane, I know Kane is a lot of people's favorite, but he's in some of the worst.
Yeah,
he's not my favorite, and I respect the work he's done, but I've always felt what you just said. It's like
Ted White.
He's in kind
Richard
of the
Brooker.
worst ones. Like,
yeah, he is.
I don't get it. Did a good job. Spread the love.
Yeah. So I don't know. Somebody ask Adrienne King to do Friday the 13th: The Revenge, and then free vacation to the Bahamas,
please.
And we just need to find who would be the Oscar-winning actor to bring in to.
It would have to be like Christian Bale or somebody whose career is kind of on the.
People would be scared. People are like, don't get in the car playing with him.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Get him in.
You're like he's doing weird line reads. Does he know what movie he's in?
Hopefully we can get the rights to the Jets. You've got it all for the big dance scene.
The big dance scene.
Picture the plane because like they're going down and Jason's and they're like, is that what I think it is? And is
that what I think it is?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then they put a thing on him. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So he's coming.
Did you know that in Back to the Future, when Marty gets off skateboard and runs into the guy in front of the courthouse, that was Ted White?
Ted White's everywhere.
I did not know that.
That's cool.
Thank you, Nerd Locations.
I like that. You learn something every day.
Yeah.
One of the other most visible Ted White scenes is in Starman. That I think he actually has lines and stuff with John Carpenter's Starman, where I don't even think it's any of a stunt scene, but he plays a hunter or something like that, and with the deer and so forth. But yeah, so.
Oh, and Starman. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Yeah, you do recognize him. So, so whoever's doing the different Friday the 13th series or whatever, you have all your ideas here ready for you, though.
Just pick them right from the tree.
They probably couldn't afford. I don't know what Brian Fuller was originally doing, but he's out now, so I think this will work.
Slice it in.
Except for Bahamas though, it's gonna be San Pedro, California. Is like we can't afford that, but this looks
not even San Diego, but
yeah. I was gonna say this looks like the Bahamas.
Palos Verdes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I hope you enjoy Jason Takes Manhattan.
Please watch it, kids.
This next one I did see in the theater, and I don't think either of you probably did.
No, I do remember seeing the trailer on TV like a million times when the little girl punches Rick Moranis.
Yes. So we are talking about Parenthood, starring Steve Martin and Mary Steenburgen, but they have quite the cast. Jason Robards, Diane Wiest, Rick Moranis. Got your Ghostbusters in there. Martha Plimpton. Keanu Reeves was gonna having his rise and so forth. So a lot of good people. Joaquin Phoenix is in it.
Yeah, the young Joaquin.
Yeah, young Joaquin, where Keanu's kind of teaching how to be a man, for lack of a better word. But it's still, I haven't watched it in a while, and I think that was shot in Florida too.
Yes.
But yeah, it's still it was a good movie. It's pretty funny, and it's interesting because I think they made 2 TV series out of it. Not too soon after they made the TV series.
Yeah, they rebooted it like
they did.
Yeah. I just watched it last week or 2 weeks ago. It still holds up. I mean, it's Steve Martin at He's in his prime, doing his on top of his game. I felt like it was a little. They pushed the envelope a little bit, which was a good thing. And yeah, it's not my favorite.
Would they push the envelope on? Like to be? Is it
Some of the jokes that they were in the car that like they were doing, they wouldn't really do today. It was a little risque at the time. I forget exactly what it was, but it was fine. It's good. It's Steve Martin. Like he was off of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so he was like, yeah, he can kind of do anything at that
Now
point.
I feel like I have to rewatch to see what 80s humor, like, was he slapping his wife? Is that what?
He pushed her down the stairs.
Were we all laughing? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know.
Oh, look at that. Oh, she's bruised. Look how he's hilarious.
That Marge asking for it again.
He's
Like,
funny.
she probably deserved it.
Well, did he do, was Father of the Bride after this or before?
After.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
You
Robert.
Father of the, oh my gosh.
Is that not the best house in?
Wait, we're talking about the
movie?
first one, Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Oh, the best
Yeah.
house ever.
But it's so fake. Like,
What was the
What?
sequel though? Father of
Bride
Oh,
2.
part 2. Oof, that deserves a sour
Was it
face.
Frank? Is that his name?
but- Yes,
I'm trying to think what it was called, but yeah.
it was just
Anyway.
Father of the Bride part 2.
I remember
Yeah.
It was
Diane
very
Keaton, and
unhealthy.
the kitchen was like, nobody actually ever cooked in that kitchen. It was
Yeah,
just
that kitchen
it
was
was like
something special.
everything. It was like somebody vaping in here because I always had that, smoky. It was like,
And
what?
it was
Yeah.
the brass perfect, like never
Yeah.
been used stuff everywhere.
And it was always like, oh,
The
this
brass.
house is gonna be so empty. I'm like, no, it's not. You got all. You're like, what are you talking?
Yeah,
You're like the richest people in Pasadena.
I know, you should be able
Yeah.
to like enjoy.
Parenthood had a real house and
Yes.
real furniture.
What
Real
was his job?
people.
He was a St. Louis salesman.
Was he a sneaker salesman?
Yeah.
Are you talking about in
Wait,
Parenthood?
No,
Parenthood or
Parenthood.
oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember. But he was there in St. Louis.
It's that good, huh?
Don't you think the beginning? I know what was risque in the beginning when they're at the ballpark. He was like, "All right, you stay here, watch my kid," and he gives him like $10, and it's like, "Oh, I guess like you can just leave kids there in the open," and he like
Well,
disappears.
We had a
It was the
different thing about kids.
'60s.
When we just talked about paternity, yeah, there was Burt Reynolds was following kids around and taking bites of things and giving that same piece to a kid, and the parents right there and like,
Mm-hmm. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Smokey and the Bandit. Like it's fine.
It was Burt Reynolds, I know, but
Yeah. I mean, he had a mustache. Like I trust him.
anyway. So I still like Parenthood. I still have nice thoughts about it. So
It's a good movie.
next one, James Cameron's follow up, The Abyss.
Yes. Classic Mary Elizabeth Masters-Townell.
Known as Emmy on the set.
Oh,
But yeah.
so
Nobody
Now,
can say that name.
we've mentioned this show recently. Abyss, out of all those 89 underwater lore, such as Leviathan and
Deep Star Rising.
Deep Star
Deep
6.
Star
and-
6.
Yeah, they had the most underwater scenes. Obviously, had the biggest budget, but they really like did a good job with the tank. I mean, they filmed, in that North Carolina nuke shelter or whatever they was, but like it looks really good. Like the budget was there.
I have still not seen The Abyss or Leviathan.
Oh,
Well,
So-
The Abyss,
you do need to watch The Abyss.
Which one do I watch first?
The Abyss.
The Abyss.
The Abyss. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Should you
remember
watch,
seeing the
should you watch-
trailers and all that. when
should you
it
watch
came
the
out.
theatrical or the special edition though?
Oh, that's a Robert question.
Because we got this. We were talking about the theatrical. If you want to be authentic for 1989,
Robert knows best.
but
Let me see if it's streaming anywhere.
it might be streamed. I don't know because it had its restoration 4K, and then there's some pushback on it.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Perfect.
Got a little too slick look for people, but early CGI, which kind of led the way for Jurassic Park a couple years later, and obviously Terminator 2 within 2 years after this. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so we might talk about Underwater 89 in a later show, so we can save our comparison to. But obviously, they were all competing to see what the Abyss was going to do. So it didn't do well. I think people were expecting an aliens underwater, and it wasn't quite that. But it has more heart than any other Cameron films, because it ends up really being about the Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth. So
Yeah.
Michael
Until
Biehn,
a
of course, is
certain-
in it. Is a fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
he
both
is
on
great.
Hulu, so I
Okay.
can watch
And
it
Bean's
later.
like a bad guy in there. Like, yeah. If you want aliens underwater, you're better off watching Leviathan. There's quite the ripoff in that. But The Abyss has what Robert said. There's so much heart going on.
Okay, I'll start with that one then.
Well, watch Titanic first. Just rewatch it anyway, and then I just want to promote that.
Go with the.
I just sat on the bench the other day at Disney Studios that they used in.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Did you take a sliver?
Yeah. What did you do?
Nothing.
Did you do me like I did, where you like, all right?
All right.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Nerd Locations, one of South Carolina's rare claims to fame in film, is The Abyss. Is it still there? I want to know. Anytime you look up abandoned movie sets, that's always like the top of the list was The Abyss. I don't know who's looking up abandoned movie sets, but me.
Oh,
But it's there.
I think it
is
does
there.
show up. Yeah. So.
Does it?
But yeah. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, when you're talking about benches, because I know at Paramount, I think they have one of the Forrest Gump.
Yes.
And they're like,
they
I
did.
remember the tour guide was kind of offended. He's like, take a seat. I'm like, no. I was
He's pissed.
he was like, you don't want it? I was like, no.
No, I don't
I'll
want to
sit on that. Yeah.
This is where the Spider-Man kiss was. Do you want to take a picture?
He's like, no. Yeah.
No, keep driving.
Yeah, I remember like no, thank you. I was like,
Keep
all
going.
right. Everybody else really is like, oh, and like,
Whee,
let's
yay.
not do that. So
Yeah. Thank you. That's funny.
Next movie, I remember this was like I was about having to go back to school. I remember, so I was excited. I was able to sneak A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Oh, nice.
Oof.
Do we like 5 or not like 5, Robert?
5 is better than 4.
4 is the Dream Warriors.
Interesting.
Shut your mouth.
No, 4 is the Dream Weavers.
Yes. Oh, the Dream Weaver. 3 was Dream Warriors. 4 was
4
Dream
is
Master.
Dream Master, right?
Yeah, with their like and look in the face or whatever they like it's like well we had to show a mirror and that's was defeated anyway.
5 is the Nun.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right.
Well, the Nun's in all of them, but
UCLA and okay.
But yeah, so it was kind of supposed to be more there's some more adult issues, pregnancy and talking about abortion and so forth. But but yeah, I kind of like that because it was just doing it, but also has some bad moments with the what do they call the Super Freddy?
Oh yeah, with the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get a clip of that.
But yeah, so Kelly Jo Mentor's in it. Shows up
Yeah.
in The Lost Boys, Miracle Mile, all the hits.
And you you go to this one before you go to Freddy's Dead, right?
Well, yes. Yeah, we do.
Did they save the best for last?
Oh my god, yeah. So that's where I was like, but I remember in the theater, and it had a good. I like the opening credits. If you remember, it's kind of bodies and stuff like that, and it was like it was a non-usual Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think that's probably also why it probably suffered because people were like, they want more Freddy doing funny things away.
That's what it was. They probably had a mouth breather at the studio. That's like, get him in there.
Oh, but I don't know. Did you? I guess you guys are probably too young for the theater, but I'm sure you saw.
Well, yeah, saw trailers
later.
For sure.
Yeah.
And finally saw it during COVID.
I saw it in later life.
Oh, there is Super Freddy. Oh, this is actually the doll. Yeah, they.
Do you have a doll like this, Robert? I hope you do.
Not like that. I think I might have a little NECA figure for Freddy.
You probably have a better one.
I don't have it out or anything like that. I have my Nightmare on Elm Street 2 video standee that I have out, or what? I have 2 of them actually.
I love it.
One for safekeeping.
Hey, you need it.
And one for display.
You need to have it.
But it's still at my age. I'm like, why do I have 2? I don't. But they sell
Why
for like
not?
$1,500 or something crazy like that.
Why not? Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah. So Dream Child is not but And
Not one of your faves.
it's not one of my faves. It's fine. Her child is actually the kid in Jurassic Park.
Oh,
The birds aren't so scary. Whatever that kid is in the beginning.
That's not so scary.
Yeah,
Have a little respect, why don't you?
and he was at HorrorCon, so I met him, and
That's cool.
It was around Jurassic World time. He was still bitter that because I think what he wasn't. How do I say this? He's no Chris Pratt looking.
Oh,
Yeah. So because remember, there's rumors like this is the kid that grown up or whatever, and if people are like, I don't.
It's Whit Hurtford. If you want to Google him.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's super nice guy, but then he's like, that should have been me. I'm like, yeah, but
That should have
I
been
don't
me.
know if people are like see him flirting with like, should be like, stop it, like.
He's no Chris Pratt. He's no
I know.
Sam Neill.
Yeah, but
It doesn't look
Anyway.
very scary.
yeah, whatever the
Like a
it's,
giant turkey.
it's like a berry to me. And it's like,
I don't want that kid. Just a young Dr. Grant.
you know that scene? That's the scene that went on that they cut out because that baby smell, whatever that scene, in a little bit they had a kiss and a little thing after that, and they cut it out. So
Oh, really?
yeah, So it's,
Kids smell. Babies smell.
baby smell. Babies don't smell.
Babies. Babies smell.
I feel like we made
so
shirts
good.
that say baby smell. I don't know why, but anyway,
Yeah.
another tangent. But yeah, so Elm
No, I
Street
like
5
it.
didn't do too well, but you're right. They saved the best for last.
They saved
Just
the
a
best.
couple years later. The next one I think I did see in the theater, and as you can imagine, I was not too happy. But go ahead.
Not a fan of the. You got to admit though, Uncle Buck had the edge over Home Alone.
Oh, how dare you!
No, not me. Home Alone is much superior, but for Robert, like you had to have enjoyed it.
It
But thank you
probably
for speaking up, Brian, because you're right. Home Alone is a classic that we will.
It is. Anyone who doesn't like it
doesn't like life.
Yeah,
What?
basically.
Why is everyone laughing?
I can't fathom not liking that.
I can
movie.
see though seeing it at, well, you know, when you're 20 or whatever, and being like, why are we all laughing at this?
It's not that. It's not. Yeah, whatever. And the
But
thing
it's
is
a
also
beautiful
with,
Christmas movie.
Uncle Buck is like there's so many. Everybody's kind of unlikable.
Yeah.
You know, there's like the teenage daughter, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
like,
for
she's
sure.
kind of annoying. And then
And she doesn't redeem herself very.
Mm.
They lag her character out too long, I think. So when
Yeah.
she does, do you think so, Brian? You're kind of like, I don't
Yeah.
really care. She's kind of still kind
Leave
of
her
mean.
in the car with the boyfriend or wherever he went to grab her from. I didn't really care.
And I thought the mom was kind of mean. Like, cut him a little slack. Like, he's not a pedophile. He gambles and drinks a little bit. It's the 80s.
you drove drunk to pick up the kids from school. This is what happens, you know. Like,
So Robert wasn't happy at Uncle Buck.
I just remember it's the same thing. I was like, this is
Why
like,
are they laughing?
it's so pedestrian. I'm like, I don't know. You have to remember, you know, as a 19-year-old, you're like,
I love it.
you know, I did get a little chuckle out of when the teenager's trying to act all adult, and she's like, "Of course I drink coffee," and she's like, really, like she takes a sip, and
Of course I drink coffee.
you can tell she does not like it.
So did you see this like in the theater or a dollar theater?
I think we saw it at the Dollar Theater.
Oh.
So because I do remember, I've never seen it on the big screen because
You
it
have
was also,
principle.
you know, this is still John Hughes time. You would just go to all the John Hughes movies that he was
You
turning
just
out.
went from theater to theater seeing another John Hughes film.
Well, you know, I mean, it was
They're
still,
everywhere.
it was a couple years after she's having a baby and stuff, you know. So I was still like,
Oh, yeah.
I'll go see
Some Kind of Terrible.
his stuff. You know, I have yet to see that movie. He didn't direct that one, but
Oh yeah, no, he didn't.
but
He
I actually
wrote
have-
it. Or I
I think he
can't
wrote it.
remember.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Did you
So,
did you see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in the theater too?
oh gosh, yes.
Oh, that's a classic.
Mm.
That's a classic. movie to
Jealous.
see. Jelly.
Jealous.
Oh yeah.
Um,
yeah.
But yeah, that was the.
But so
but,
Uncle
you know,
Buck does not. You don't revisit this ever, kind of thing.
No.
Would you visit
I'm sorry.
The Great
no.
Outdoors too? I know they're two different movies, but
No, but I was just thinking that
I
because
feel like that's more
Yeah.
adult funny than Uncle Buck.
Yeah, we had there was a couple competing things. I think there was a couple summer camping type movies that summer too. There's kind of the same plot, and like I can't tell them apart. But
right.
Uncle Buck's has his fans, and this was made into a TV series as well. I feel like might have been made into 2 TV series.
Two?
Yeah, and it was one of those.
It was made in a disproportionate amount of TV shows for a kind of obscure '89 movie. Not obscure, but it wasn't like breaking records. I thought that was a kind of an interesting choice.
But they're like, if we can squeeze something out, so.
From the producers of Dirty Dancing, the series.
Kevin Meaney, Big Buck. So 18 episodes, it says. So
18. Wow, 18. I would have guessed 4 or 5.
It got a whole season. So, but let me see. It was at 1990. So so just a year later, they're like, and let's make this into. But they made everything in TV series.
Yeah.
Right.
And League of Their Own. I mean, just like 9 to 5.
Yeah, they kept doing it.
And they would all fail every time. I'm trying to think. Is there any ones that say, "Yeah, that worked"? I guess there's been a couple. I guess you have the they keep looking for the new MASH.
The formula doesn't work. Just move on. Like we're ordering up another 10 episodes.
The Outsiders that came out around that time too.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yep.
How many things? Like, let's say Uncle Buck. I'm like, what is he gonna keep doing? The kind of fish out of water where things can. I think.
The parents have to go away this weekend because
right
every week.
Because it wasn't where it was. The kids were placed under his care indefinitely because the parents died and he was like the next custodian of that would make sense. It was a last minute trip and he's like, I'll do it. And even then, like it was the window was very short in the movie. It was it worked for what it is for intents and purposes, but to prolong that, I always thought kind of a weird choice.
I feel like you just inspired me because we just talked about this. But I'm like, I feel like they should do a new Uncle Buck remake, but more in the Visit, where like this is not a comedy.
Yes.
Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck's staying. I won't be there, and hopefully he goes to maybe you do remember the Wrong House thing. Maybe maybe that's the whole thing.
Buck.
That he's at the wrong house, and these 2 kids are terrified. Meanwhile, at the real house, these kids are like trapped and starving.
Buck's got him. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The Buck stops here.
The Buck stop. That's the tagline with Buck. When you saw Uncle Buck, Laurie Metcalf's saucy neighborish ways weren't lighting up the audience with laughter, were they?
Not to me, but I'm also that's just not my.
Yeah. No, What do you think, Brian? Was she like? I always thought she was like kind of forced in that movie. You're like, Buck's already like kind of out of control.
Yeah,
I'm
with you on that.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, Laurie Metcalf's a good, and she probably hit her more stride during the Roseanne years because she like, here's
for
kind
sure.
Of her
Great actress,
sweet spot and so forth.
She is, yeah.
Mrs. Loomis.
Best role ever.
The next one I did not see. This is kind of the end of last movie of the summer, officially, or whatever. So, which you probably have not seen either, and I didn't see in the theaters, but is one of my favorites. Is Millennium.
Oh. Chris Christopherson.
Yes, Chris Christopherson, Cheryl Ladd, top stars.
Cheryl Ladd.
So, you're probably neither one of you are familiar with it, but it is one of my favorites.
I haven't. Wow, interesting.
But yeah, so it is just one of those kind of time travel, and it's deals with also plane crashes, and because I think he works for, he would go to different plane crashes to kind of figure out what happened and so forth. And
you love plane crashes.
I have a thing, and so he and Cheryl Ladd is from another time, and they would kind of do different things and stuff like that. So
how many time travel plot holes are in this movie?
Oh yes,
there's none. Everything's perfect. It's that tight.
Is it better than the Langoliers?
Oh my god, yes, 100% better. So essentially, more or less, the people from the future, it was kind of almost like they need new people from the past to be healthy in the new future. So if a plane was about to crash, they would literally, all people were going to die anyway. They would take them and bring them to the future.
Okay, I really like that.
Yeah.
Kind of,
So it's kind of, that's what.
I'm gonna
that
check
was
it
kind of
out.
the thing and
Millennium.
stuff like that. So
Interesting.
but yeah, so
Interesting.
Millennium.
Millennium was released in 1989. How old is Chris Christopherson? I feel like he's been around forever.
Well, people looked older at the time. But you see the picture, he's like, what was he, 52 there? And he's like, he was a 29-year-old.
Right. Like he was in, I watched Payback recently. He was in that, and that was like 99. And he looked the same as like
wow,
the
born 1936.
Damn.
So he was 53. And when you're younger than me in the movie. But, which, it was a more grizzled time,
It was a more grizzled time.
Yeah. Cheryl, and I wish Cheryl Ladd would do. She's done Hollywood Show before, and I keep asking Mike. I'm like, please bring her back. I would love, and because he's like, oh, Cheryl would love to talk to you
about her.
Because Cheryl would love to talk about Millennium. So because I don't think too many people come to her with that. Be like,
Ladd's not bringing him in like Julie Newmar.
F Charlie's Angels. I want to talk about Millennium.
Charlie's Angels.
Because one of my favorite things is that in the movie is that she comes from a time, and so our air is too healthy for her that she's like, so she's chain smoking the entire time in the movie when she's in our current world. Like
that's fun.
So because she goes, I can't breathe. But Chris Christopher doesn't know this, but she can't breathe our air, and so she's like chain smoking the whole time. And she just throws cigarettes. In the future, you throw your cigarette and it gets zapped by something like that. So she's in restaurants just throwing her cigarettes.
Cheryl Ladd was in Poison Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
With Scarrett and Sarah Gilbert. And DiCaprio was in there as a guy.
Was it? Oh. Yeah, as guy.
Like he wasn't, it was not a role.
He had to do it. He paid his dues.
He paid his dues.
Work,
Oh, yeah.
But he was probably in the Uncle Buck TV series,
He was on Roseanne. He had a line on Roseanne once.
Oh, yeah.
DiCaprio did?
Yeah, that when they went to the supermarket.
Oh, Roseanne I must have missed that one.
Well, in syndication, they cut him out. So
what? Did they not want to pay him? No residuals for him?
No. So unless you own it on DVD, you probably missed it.
That's interesting. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that.
I used to have the box set.
Did you really?
Yeah.
The DVDs?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Used
to? Were they tossed aside?
They were quickly sold. After somebody went south. I'm not just
nuts.
saying Hawaii. But
Right.
like, no, I don't need you in my house.
Yeah, I don't need this here.
Yes. Or
we're
helping other presidential nominees talk about setting up a fake crime scene in Central Park, which seems like a movie to me. Like where
actually
would this,
it does.
Who I wouldn't set up a fake crime scene at the park down the street, let alone Central Park. Like
right.
This will work.
It does seem like a movie.
It's like,
starring Cheryl Ladd.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. Seems like a strange idea.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's hilarious.
And he didn't eat that particular bear either. But he also got a brainworm, but not related.
Yeah. No, and he disclosed it after somebody called him out.
Just to be on the transparency here. So.
Right. The worm ate half.
Thank you for that, sir.
I know we're getting late there, but before we wrap it up, we got to ask the question that the world wants to know: is Jaws the Revenge? Why did it not?
It wasn't even
transcend across generations like we wanted it to, or is it? Is it so bad it's good?
Bad it's good.
Okay.
2 kills, I believe, and I think that's being generous.
Mm-hmm. Video game tie-in, right?
Oh, that's
Robert
one of the
and I
best
just talked about that.
video games ever. In fact, I dusted off my 100 greatest video games of all time book. Shocked and crestfallen to find out that Jaws of Revenge is not on the
Oh.
list. So now
should've
it came
added-
out in 87. Now maybe this book was printed
It looks like a
right after it came out.
looks like a
What year is
70s
this?
textbook you got there.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah,
was
I
in
don't know who's
2014.
doing that book.
Okay, so I guess maybe they just didn't have Jaws of Revenge, but
You should
it was.
write that editor right
I
now.
will.
Right
I'll give a piece
now.
of my
I say
mind.
I just received this book and like to make a correction.
But
Yeah, one of my favorite Nintendo games for sure.
it's a classic. And the movie,
And I love how they just call it Jaws, thinking like, and it
Just
has
Jaws.
nothing to do with the first Jaws. It's clearly all based on Jaws of Revenge. But
the only thing it has to do with the first Jaws is does it have anything to do with it? It has something to do with it.
I don't remember anything.
It doesn't.
from
No.
the first Jaws.
No.
No,
I mean, they're in
this
the
is-
Bahamas. Clearly, there's palm
In the
trees.
Bahamas, you're collecting conch shells. You get
Which
the
are used as
submarine.
currency.
You stab them like they did in the movie, or the theatrical version of the movie.
Yeah.
You go away in Hoagie's plane. Like, I mean, it couldn't be.
It's
It
Jaws the
couldn't be
Revenge.
more revengey.
Even the artwork is.
mm.
But yeah. But these are the things we think about in the mornings. Jaws the Revenge versus
Now-
the game.
How would you compare that to the Friday the 13th game?
Oh, a Friday the 13th game is beyond bad, but I still will.
Are you
fire
talking
it up.
about the original Friday the 13th game?
Yeah, the
With the
Nintendo
Mrs.
game.
Voorhees head.
Terrible.
I mean, it's so hard. It's so difficult.
Yeah, and zombies coming up off the ground, like,
And wolves.
and then Jason's wearing Betty Kupfer's purple tracksuit from Halloween 3. Like, it was
It's
just
quite purple.
terrible.
I think it was supposed to be dark, and that was their version of like it's night.
Oh,
You know,
that's probably what it was.
this is what
I just
Jason
remember
Voorhees
going
was
in and out of cabins and nothing happening. And then when he kills you, it's like everybody's dead, or all the kids are something cryptic. Oh yeah, that awful
Yeah.
map of Crystal Lake.
like. Seems authentic to me.
Well, let me just show you Jason. It's there you go. So here's Jason, the purple flesh.
Oh, I forgot he's different size.
You win for now. But if you kill him, look at the proportion of his mass to his body.
You know, stars have big heads.
But you're right though. If you lose, it's like it's something. I forget what it says,
All
but
the
it's
kids
very
are dead or something.
Yeah, it's like all the kids are dead, whatever. And then when you win, if you win, which I never have, it says, or is he really dead? You're like, just give me a bone.
Just
Like I spent 4 hours on a summer day, like with this monster.
and all the counselors like Tom Cruise size.
You know what the game's like? Do you ever played Gremlins 2? Not Gremlins 2, Goonies 2.
Oh, that was another terrible game.
Yeah. There's no
Nothing
Goonies 1
happened.
either. There's
Well,
just
I
Goonies
looked it
2.
up. They called it Goonies 2 because there was a Goonies game for Commodore 64,
Oh.
and they didn't want you to think
Don't
you
wanna
were
be
like
sued
getting.
by the-
But at the time, I was like, "Why is this called Goonies 2?"
Yeah.
Is it number
And
2 or is it TOO?
It's two. Look like two bones.
Oh, like
I
two
think for the
Roman
two.
numerals by bones.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did nothing. You went in and out of caves. The Cyndi Lauper song's playing in the background, but that's it.
Yeah, it
No-
is playing in
nothing
the
happened.
background.
Nothing happened in that game.
Still probably better than the movie.
Oh yeah, you hate
What?
Goonies. I
Oh,
love
you
that.
hate. Oh, yeah, I forgot who we're talking to.
Before we go, though, I will share a clip of Goonies too, just so the world can see.
I had no idea. Oh, is that RFK?
That's the worm got his brain.
Yeah, that's what looks like it's happening.
So it's basically like Hogan's Alley, the same
Yes.
thing here, right?
Uh,
All right, now tell me if you can pick up the theme music. See, this is where it's like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
It's just, unrelated,
Same game producer, I
Yeah.
bet.
100%. And it's the
change
same.
the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
colors, weird characters, and you go into rooms and it's very bulky. It's like
this cabin is 3 miles long. This is what is this? Friday 13th, 2009.
We'll put on a production for the next show. We'll put on a production presentation of.
I'm upset Mrs. Taft wasn't in Jaws the game.
That's what we need.
You know, I have a bone to pick with her in Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh, what's your bone?
I think it's her because the line is said off screen, but
Taft.
Oh, Thea says she has a hamburger on the plane, and then she says we can do better than that. How about a funny bone sandwich? And as a red meat lover, I took great offense to that. Like, how are you gonna do better than a hamburger with your bougie Martha's Vineyard funny bone sandwich?
How would you do better?
So that always bothered me. Now I can't because I think Mrs. Kintner is holding her.
Yes, that's where they cut out because I feel like there's a whole other thing that happens. So they just cut out because like what Uncle Sean's dead, you know, and then
we'll talk more about that later.
And Mrs. Kintner's like, your dad killed my son 12 years ago. So shut up a little bit. And then Mama's like, we'll talk about that later. But I think, I want to redo that saying because I think that's is actually what's they move off screen, but Mrs. Kintner is like, I haven't forgiven you. You know, they said Grandpa had a heart attack. But that's
if we can have that, they said.
And then Mrs. Taft is like,
That's what we need.
She'll do her finger point.
Your dad killed my dad.
Yeah, that's was like, and then Mom's like, we gotta get.
Wait, who's saying your dad killed my dad?
Mrs. Kintner.
Oh,
because
right,
Mrs. Kintner picks us up because she's like, they recognized you, and then it's kind of like Uncle Sean's dead, you know, and then the camera kind of moves off, and then the mother has a line, but I'm pretty sure there's a whole exchange going on where she's like, "Stop, you're squeezing me," like. Because it's ought to be pretty fresh because this is what 13 years after it's like 12 years, so it's like my son should be Sean's age, but he's not.
That's what you
so
but he's not.
That's fair.
He's not here.
I don't know who would have lured a shark into Amity to kill the Brodies. What type of vengeful mother do that?
And she's always dressed like Mary Poppins.
Wasn't a very good swimmer.
Who lured that shark down?
I was working that day.
I was
working that day
his birthday at the Taft Hotel.
His name was Alex Kintner.
I was changing the sheets. I was changing the bed sheets.
And Mrs. Taft is there going, "We got."
Oh my God!
Everything is working. Oh, Ellen!
I don't think that's runny. I don't think that sandwich is runny at all. I think it's.
Maybe you should. Then they trash Ellen's house as soon as she goes to the Bahamas.
Yeah, immediately.
Like, well, no, we gotcha.
Cobra Kai style.
Ellen,
you won't be making fettuccine anymore.
Quint's little helpers there living with the hermit. He's younger for some reason.
They just leave her ugly, yucky fish on the
puts
stove.
All those pots in your oven.
What?
Like every time you got to take them out.
Well, that's what they did in Amity.
I mean, I know it was a small kitchen, but
why use that as a permanent storage?
What if you preheat the oven and then forget that all the pots are in there? Then you're like,
oh no,
third-degree burns. And what if? And do you clean them thoroughly every time?
Right,
they get dust.
Or do you just put them in, turn on the oven?
There was just not enough space in these old houses. And that's where you had to put because they almost had a galley.
Well, they're in Martha's Vineyard. They're not in Brooklyn.
Well,
yeah, right.
I don't know.
His
if I buy
pension is not paying out.
The pension wasn't doing too well.
That explains her haircut.
She's not working.
And what is he going to fix on the swings that causes cuts like that?
You're talking about
I think just throw it out at that point.
He's a
there's metal sticking out.
Everything was wrong in the 70s. We just dealt with it. It toughened us up.
What did Hooper eat when he sat down? He's like, "Is anyone eating this?" And he helps himself. Was that a fish fillet or something?
I don't remember what was on the.
It always looks good. It's like a breaded fillet or something.
They just drink their dinners at the Brodies.
You're gonna want to let that breathe. Oh, no, nothing.
No.
I can do it.
I know. Yeah, she lost her real estate job. Yeah. The town had it out for her, I swear, because they're
Big
like,
time.
yeah, and they're like
Big politics.
Yeah.
There's also scenes where she's crying on the ferry again.
Yeah, she was hyperventilating.
Yeah, she's like, and Mrs. Taft is like, oh my god. Like,
You'll never be in.
If it had been like the new millennium, she'd have her phone out, like.
And as Taft lady's putting her foot down on her face, she's going, "You'll never be an Islander, Ellen, ever. I told you you would never be an Islander.
You can go to the Bahamas. You're still not an Islander.
You're still not an Islander." Holy!
We have to make this show.
It has to happen.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, the gossip. They're like, "Did you see who she brought back from the Bahamas?"
That guy? I heard he's a hobo.
I hear he's got a gambling problem.
He's homeless.
There's a reason.
He's a gambling problem. Oh, Hoagie.
Oh.
Right.
Well, that'll be our show tonight, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next week.
Me.
Yes, thank you for coming, and thank you for enlightening the world, Robert.
We talked about 1989 for 25% of the show.
I love it. That's the beauty of it. Before we go, listeners, just don't forget to check out Robert's website at setjetter.com and check out Brian's at rtrlocations.blogspot.com, and we will see you on the set.